Walk through any older American home, and you will find pictures on kitchen shelves, in dining room cabinets, on windowsills. Ceramic, glass, stoneware, majola collected over decades, moved from house to house, displayed without question because they have always been there. The problem is that nobody ever picks them up. Nobody turns them over. Nobody asks where they came from or who made them. 10 specific pictures on this list have sold for hundreds of dollars. 2 have sold for over 1,000. And at least one type I am going to show you tonight is almost certainly in your home right now. Number 10. Is there a squat, earthy glazed pottery pitcher in your kitchen? Brown and green, maybe with an embossed leaf or vine pattern on the body? That might be McCoy, and the specific pattern and glaze color determine whether you are holding a $20 piece or a $600 one. Nelson McCoy Pottery operated in Roseville, Ohio from 1910 to 1990. A common McCoy pitcher brings $20 to $40. But specific forms, the rustic pattern in original brown on green glaze, the hobnail pitcher in cobalt, the buccaneer pattern, bring $200 to $400 in excellent condition. A rare McCoy sunflower pitcher in mint condition sold for $680. Turn the pitcher over and look for the McCoy name molded into the base, either McCoy USA or simply USA in block letters. Then identify the specific pattern using eBay completed sales filtered to sold. Cobalt blue commands a significant premium over brown and green. Check the spout and handle join for chips. These are the first places damage appears. Search the exact pattern name and glaze color on eBay completed sales before naming any price. 2 McCoy pitchers in the same shape can sell for $20 and $200 depending purely on the color. Number 9. Do you have a pitcher with a warm brown to orange gradient glaze and hand-painted decoration? Flowers? A portrait? A landscape painted directly onto the clay under the glaze? Look at the base before you do anything else. Rookwood Pottery was founded in Cincinnati in 1880 and became the most prestigious American art pottery of the late 19th century. A Rookwood standard glaze pitcher with a signed artist portrait decoration sold at auction in 2022 for $2,800. Unsigned examples with floral decoration bring $300 to $800 depending on size and execution. Find the Rookwood mark on the base, an RP monogram with a flame above it, plus a series of flames indicating the year. Each flame added represents 1 year after 1886. Then look for an artist's cipher beside the mark, a small monogram impressed into the clay. A named artist's signature transforms the value. Then look at the painting quality. Sharp detail and confident brushwork indicate a senior artist. Look up the artist's cipher in a Rookwood reference before pricing. The difference between a junior decorator and a senior artist on the same pitcher can be $1,500. Number 8. Have you ever seen a pitcher covered in vivid colored glazes with a relief design? A corncob, a bamboo stalk, a fish? Victorian majolica pitchers were made by Minton, George Jones, and Wedgwood from the 1850s onward, and the best examples have been selling at serious prices for decades. A George Jones majolica pitcher with a water lily and crane design sold for $3,200. A Minton majolica pitcher in the Palissy style brought $2,100. Even unmarked Victorian majolica pitchers in excellent condition with strong color bring $300 to $600. Feel the weight. Genuine Victorian majolica is heavier than it looks. Then, look at the glaze depth. Premium majolica has a rich jewel-like color that seems to glow from inside. Check the base for any impressed mark. GJ monogram for George Jones. A date cipher for Minton. Wedgwood for Wedgwood. Then examine the relief modeling. High-end majolica has crisp, deeply defined detail. Never price a majolica pitcher without checking the base for a maker's mark first. An unmarked pitcher and a George Jones pitcher in the same pattern can differ in value by $3,000. Number 7. If you have a pitcher that looks similar to Rookwood, warm brown to orange gradient with hand-painted decoration under the glaze, but the base mark is different, you might be holding Weller. Weller Pottery was Rookwood's most significant competitor, and collectors have been paying serious money for their best pieces for years. A Weller Luelza pitcher with a signed artist portrait sold for $1,400. Dickensware pitchers, with incised decoration carved through the glaze showing lighter clay beneath, bring $500 to $1,200 in excellent condition. Look for Weller in block letters impressed into the clay, or a Weller ink stamp in blue. Then look for the line name. Luelsa, Dickensware, Aurelian, or Aocean appear separately on many pieces. Look for an artist's signature. Signed Weller commands a premium. On Dickensware specifically, look for the incised technique, a design carved through a top layer of slip to reveal differently colored clay beneath. Do not price Weller as generic art pottery without identifying the specific line. Luelsa and Dickensware sell for very different amounts than standard Weller production. Number 6. Is there a blue and white pitcher in your home where the blue seems to bleed slightly into the white background, the edges soft and slightly blurred rather than crisp and sharp? That is flow blue, and the pitcher form is one of the most valuable shapes in the category. Most flow blue pitchers bring $80 to $200, but pitchers in rare patterns, chapu, sinde, nonpareil, or Asiatic pheasant, in excellent condition bring over $800. The spout is always the first place to check for damage. Find the manufacturer's mark and the pattern name on the base. Then search the exact pattern name in eBay completed sales filtered to sold. Look at the blue itself. Genuine flow blue has a soft blurred edge to the print. Late Victorian crisp print transferware looks similar but commands lower prices. Then examine the handle and spout junction for hairline cracks. Read the pattern name on the base before you guess at a value. Two flow blue pitchers in the same size with different pattern names can differ in price by $700. Number 5. Is there a pottery pitcher in your home with a branch or vine forming part of the handle? Pine cones and needles? Or large poppies? Or wisteria? The kind of design where the nature imagery is built into the shape of the object rather than just painted on it? Roseville Pottery made these. A Roseville pine cone pitcher in blue glaze sold for $480. A Roseville wisteria pitcher in the rare brown colorway cleared over $1,000. Look for Roseville, USA with a shape number on the base or a Roseville Pottery ink stamp on earlier pieces. Identify the pattern line and the specific color. In almost every Roseville line, blue commands a premium over brown or green. Check the handle where it joins the body at top and bottom. These junction points are where hairline cracks most commonly appear. Identify both the pattern name and the specific color before pricing. A Roseville pinecone pitcher in blue and the same pitcher in brown differ in price by $200. Number 4. You know this pattern already. The deep cobalt blue Italian landscape with bridges, boats, and mountains. But the pitcher form in early Spode blue Italian is rarer than the plates and serving pieces produced in smaller quantities and more likely to have broken over time. A genuine early 19th century Spode blue Italian pitcher with the impressed mark sold at English auction for $1,100. The modern department store version of the same pitcher is worth $35. Look for Spode impressed into the clay on the base, pressed before firing, not printed in ink. Run your thumbnail across it and feel for raised letters. A pre-1850 impressed mark is your primary signal. Then look at the blue through a magnifying glass. Early printing shows fine parallel lines. Modern printing appears smooth and perfectly even. Check the handle junction for hairline cracks. Confirm whether the Spode mark is impressed into the clay or printed in ink before researching value. Those two marks on blue Italian pitchers differ in value by over $1,000. Number 3. A pitcher in warm yellow earthenware with banded decoration, horizontal stripes, in brown, white, and blue, sometimes with a seaweed or earthworm pattern running through the bands, the kind that looks purely decorative and American folk until you research what the decoration technique actually is. Mocha decoration, the seaweed-like pattern created by dropping acidic dye onto wet alkaline slip, is one of the most difficult ceramic techniques to reproduce. A large yellowware mocha pitcher with seaweed decoration sold at folk art auction for $2,400. Look at the mocha decoration through a magnifying glass. Genuine early mocha has a slightly irregular, spontaneous organic quality. The seaweed branches spread in different directions with varying density. Reproduction mocha looks more controlled and uniform. Then look at the yellowware body. Genuine 19th century yellowware has a warm, slightly uneven honey tone. Early yellowware is also noticeably dense and heavy. Examine the decoration quality before pricing. A yellowware pitcher with banding only is worth $40. The same pitcher with genuine seaweed mocha decoration is worth 60 times that. Number 2. An iridescent glass pitcher with a surface that shifts color as the light moves. Gold to amber to green. The kind of surface that looks almost alive. The kind of object that gets called pretty art glass until someone looks at the base. A signed Tiffany Favrile glass pitcher sold at auction in 2022 for $6,400. Smaller Favrile pitchers bring $1,500 to $3,000 regularly at specialist auction. Look on the underside of the base for an engraved signature. LC Tiffany Favrile, or LCT, or just Favrile, engraved into the glass. These marks are engraved by hand with a slightly irregular quality, not printed or mechanically etched. Then look at the iridescence. Genuine Favrile shifts through multiple colors as the angle changes. Reproduction iridescent glass tends to be more uniform and one-dimensional. Never sell an iridescent art glass pitcher without checking the base for an engraved signature first. The word Favrile engraved on the base transforms the value entirely. Number 1. The one already in your home. A gray stoneware pitcher with cobalt blue decoration. A bird, a flower, a simple brushstroke. Heavy, utilitarian looking. The kind of object that gets called old and displayed on a shelf without another thought. American salt-glazed stoneware pitchers were produced by regional potteries across the Northeast and Midwest from the late 1700s through the early 1900s. Most bring $50 to $100. But a signed picture, with the Pottery name and location stamped into the clay, with original cobalt decoration in good condition, brings $300 to $800. A large picture signed by a known maker with a detailed cobalt bird sold at American folk art auction for $4,200. Go look at every stoneware picture in your home right now. Turn each one over. Look for a stamp or an impressed name in the clay. Then look at the cobalt decoration. A simple stripe is worth $50. A cobalt eagle is worth $5,000. The decoration and the maker's stamp are the two things that tell you everything. 10 pictures, one base on each one. Go check your shelves tonight. And if you find a mark or a decoration you want to know more about, leave it in the comments. I read every single one. New video coming very soon.